Raj, as the MD of FixFlo, what do you think are the three biggest changes for the future of the UK lettings industry? Talk to me.
So the UK lettings industry is in a point of flux, and I think that in part driven by regulation, so tenant fee ban being one example, lettings is going to change, and it's going to change in three key ways. So the first is, I believe that the let-only service is going to become an outlier, and more properties, a higher proportion of the book of properties that are let through a letting agency will also be managed by that letting agency.
Why?
For two key reasons. So the first is that it is incredibly hard to be a self-managing landlord and to do so compliantly. And I think the direction of travel, so the government legislation, I believe, is being designed so that individual landlords will find it very hard and increasingly difficult to manage properties themselves. The second reason why I think it will become a high proportion of properties will be managed on a fully managed basis is because without tenant fees, which were in part subsidising the cost of the transaction,
Yes.
it is not economical for a letting agent to do all of the work involved in properly marketing a property, securing a tenant, transacting compliantly at the fees at which are currently being charged. And the third is that the expectation of service for tenants keeps increasing. And as build to rent becomes a bigger thing in the UK, I think that professional management is what they will gravitate towards. So I guess in outline, I suspect that and predict that letting agents will manage many more properties as a proportion of their overall base by 2022,
Really?
2021. Yeah.
Do you think agents charge enough
Do agents charge enough?
for their services?
I think that agents charge enough for the service that they tell people they provide, but not enough for the service they actually provide. So, speaking as a landlord and working with lots of letting agents, very few letting agents I come across actually explain the benefits to the landlord of the service. I'm not talking about going into the minutiae of keeping abreast of X and Y and Z legislation. I mean, very simply, look, Mr/Mrs. Landlord, you may go and find a tenant yourself. That's absolutely fine. Here are the key benefits of using us to find the right tenants. Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, you may manage the property yourself, but here are the three key benefits of choosing us. And if you write it down and you explain that properly, then the letting agents are providing a phenomenally valuable service.
Especially with all the legislation that's come in the last few years.
It is, or they are, but it's a bit like all professional services providers. So I see less. So I used to be a solicitor, and I deal with lots of accountants. Professional services providers are generally pretty bad at marketing what they provide because they make an assumption that people understand the service that the work they put in and the value they provide. And so they talk about the sort of tangential stuff like we will do whatever type of floor plans or whatever. But the crux of why you would use a professional letting agent is very much more basic than that, which is it's about quality of service. It's about legal compliance. It's about protecting your asset, your single biggest non-resident asset.
That's why people employ letting agents to get a tenant and pay the rent.
Exactly right.
How do you think letting agents could change their marketing to prove their worth? Because I don't think they do.
I think it's about talk. It's about conversation, effectively, and that conversation could be one-to-one or it could be one-to-many. So, writing articles about the local market, so that expertise, whether through your own posts or whether through the newspaper, whichever channel. So it's about showing that your market expertise is genuinely beneficial to landlords, explaining what is going on in the wider market, so not just your local geographic area and what's happening on prices, and explaining the value in a very basic sense to a letting agent. Why would you choose to pay for an accountant? It is for these following reasons. Why would you choose to pay for a letting agent? It's very similar.
So do you think letting agents should talk about the local property market because that's of interest to landlords. Do you think they should be talking about legislation all the time, doing Section 8 versus Section 21 posts and articles and things like that?
I think that they're probably too granular for what people are looking for.
Well, I mean, it'd be a bit like a solicitor saying, should you use the law of tort or should you use the law of negligence when that's what we pay you for?
Exactly right. That's what the professional expertise is paid for. I think that talking about the eviction process in a general sense and providing really good insight and value. So the people who read it may not be paying customers, but look for everybody who interacts with content you put out to be enriched in some way by reading it.
Not mentioning any names, but you must obviously, well, you do deal with thousands of letting agents. Is there any particular good marketing that you've seen where you think, wow, they're doing that well?
I really like the videos that talk about the market condition and, strangely, sometimes include competitors' listings.
Yeah.
I think that is, so it's about being honest and authentic. And if you genuinely believe that your competitor is listing the most interesting property in the area, then feeling free to talk about it is really powerful.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.